like I said, are getting different results, but there is one word that keeps standing out to everybody, and that is the word bridge. For instance, one person, when they translate, they get, consider the bridge's magnetism ground, and you will be alone in the bridge, calling for an alliance, weeping, knocking on the wall, looking forward to expanding, knocking on the dust, Zyojin bastard, and then it talks about some other gibberish. Oxygen support, Quayan Shishiang. Another person who was translating got, consider the bridge's magnetic poles and bridges. The bridge is made of magnetic material and the bridge is made of wood. Running it through my own translator, I got the same thing after cleaning up some of the non-Chinese symbols and the spaces. I also got, the bridge is made of magnetic material and the bridge is made of wood, different from each other. When you put in Apple Translate, it's a little scarier because Apple Translate keeps saying, don't worry about the bridge, criticize the bridge, and then it keeps saying the bridge, the bridge, the bridge. Now, almost every translator mentions a bridge, except one translator, Deep L. Deep L translates it as, I am very anxious to start a new life, and I've always been interested in learning about the people who worked in the school. He was a young girl, and he was very proud of her with all the advice. Now, while this might be mainly gibberish and might not mean much to us, this still very well could be some kind of cipher that crossed over during the outage. But like I said, when it comes to most of the translators, there is one word that is consistently picked up, and that is the word bridge. Now, before I do begin this video, I do want to give my heart to any other lives lost and their families after the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed in Baltimore after it was struck by a large cargo vessel. Any ad revenue gained on this video will be saved and go to a GoFundMe to anyone that's involved in this incident. Now, what you just heard in the beginning of the video was a video I created about a month ago when networks, phone networks, including AT&T and other carriers, went down. Now, we still do not have an official answer why multiple mobile carriers and other businesses that have nothing to do with mobile networks went down that day. AT&T states it was an employee mishap. Others stated they were hacked, and others blamed it on the solar flare. Now, during the solar flare, people reported that they were receiving text messages with very bizarre symbols. Some have stated that it even looks Chinese. I had 2 subscribers on one of my AT&T videos tell me that they were getting these bizarre text messages, and I kind of blew it off until I went to Reddit and noticed people were reporting the same thing on multiple message boards. People were trying to decipher the text using English to Chinese translations, and as it says in the video, one word kept popping up, and that word was bridge, over and over again. Even using other translators, the word bridge kept popping up. But it's not just this text message that was sent during a time when mobile networks were supposed to be down, warning us over and over again about a bridge. It also connects oddly to the Economist cover, the Economist 2024 magazine cover. Now, I made a video on my secondary channel breaking down this magazine cover, the Economist The World Ahead 2024 magazine cover, because it's very eerie and it's very telling for multiple reasons. If you look to the right of this magazine cover, you are going to see a cargo ship. Now, during the time that I was breaking this magazine cover down about a couple months ago, I had no idea what this symbolized. Now, to the left of it, we have a collapse. Now, it's not a bridge collapse, but it's a collapse of money. It's a collapse of currency. But what are the odds that on the magazine cover, The Economist, where people always look forward to these economic covers because they always seem to predict the future, that we have a cargo ship right next to a collapse? And what do we have just a couple months after this magazine is released? A cargo ship collapsing a bridge. Now, what do we have to the left of this magazine cover? Because like I said, this whole magazine cover is about reflections, as above, so below. What's on the left is taking place on the right. What's taking place on the right is taking place on the left. And what you see on the left that's reflecting this cargo ship and this collapse is a media psyop. There are distractions left and right taking place in the media lately. Think about everything that's going on currently in Russia, in the United Kingdom, even here in the United States, where we have things that are currently coming out known as demon face syndrome, among other things, what's currently going on with P. Diddy. So there are a lot of psyops taking place here. And this is all being built up to something. But going back to this very eerie text message that was sent while phone networks were supposedly down, one of the more eerier translations, one of the stranger translations, was this translation here. Consider the bridge's magnetism ground, and you will be alone in the bridge. Calling for an alliance, weeping, knocking on the wall, looking forward to expanding, knocking on the dust. News agencies are even saying that, well, how could one single cargo vessel take down such a critical bridge where ships go back and forth? You would think that this bridge would be a little bit more sturdier, would be prepared for a collision with a ship.
Had just departed Baltimore Harbor, presumably loaded with cargo. When you look at the video closely, it appears as the cargo ship, it looks very dark as it hits that support structure. One can't speculate, but it looks very, very dark as it hits the support structure. What do you make of that?
Well, not only that, but notice right above it, that appears to be smoke coming from the ship itself. All of this is according to eyewitnesses who have also said they thought they saw smoke coming from the ship. So that clearly is going to be part of this investigation. And I must say, all of us who live in the greater Washington, Baltimore area and who are very much aware of what a critical bridge the Francis Scott Key Bridge is, are stunned that how a single cargo ship could take this bridge out. How could they have hit the pylon to begin with? And second of all, how is it possible that this bridge was so vulnerable to being taken out by a single cargo vessel?
Agreed.
Regardless, as you know, this is and this is a critical port. The Port of Baltimore handles just a tremendous amount of volume, shipping volume for the East Coast. And this morning, all of that is very much kind of hitting the pause button as this ongoing search and rescue operation continues.
It's still dark.
Well, given the size of this cargo vessel was huge. Well, consider the bridge and what the bridge is made out of. This bridge is not going to support, the translation is talking about magnetism. Well, given the size of the cargo ship, the kinetic energy striking the pillar would be a major factor for the bridge collapsing. So what are the odds that people are receiving this very bizarre text message while their mobile networks were down, and this text message translating to, consider the bridge's magnetism. You will be alone in the bridge. Well, the cargo ship was alone at the bridge. Weeping, knocking on the wall. Well, it did knock into basically the wall. It knocked into the support structure. Dust was everywhere, knocking on the dust. This is beyond eerie. Don't worry about the bridge. Criticize the bridge over and over and over again. This is a message. This ship hitting this bridge is not just a normal accident. Something's going to come out, and it's going to be a precursor to something in the future. Just like this total eclipse, look at the Economist magazine cover, and what will you see? You will see the total eclipse. You will see it in its phases. But what do you see mirroring this total eclipse? Like I said, as above, so below. You will see two spheres. One that's red, one that's blue. The red and the blue are merging right along with this total eclipse. Something's going to happen on or after this total eclipse that's going to cause this great merger between these countries, between these world leaders. You will also see the world leaders are also in red and blue. What's going to happen between these countries that don't like each other? I don't know. But you can clearly see Putin's in the blue, Zelensky's in the red. And right below them, right below these leaders, are the merging of the red and the blue, and they unite under one color. You can see that the United States will do exactly the same. You can see above Zelensky and Putin, you can see what looks like Trump, and you can see a female who I'm assuming is running against Trump, because oddly missing from this cover is Biden. But you can see the red and blue squares next to Trump, And you can see the red and blue squares next to this female who he's running against, his opposite. But it doesn't matter because they will also go along with this red and blue merging, like the other leaders on this cover are doing as well. In the center of everything is an election box. Now, out of everything on this cover, which is either red or blue, you would think that this election box would be red and blue as well, signaling Democrats and Republicans. But it's white, it's blank, because it doesn't matter. There will be no Republican, there will be no Democrat, because everything will merge into one, supposedly after this total eclipse. Now, anytime I mention the total eclipse, because I think I made about 3 videos on the total eclipse, people want to say that I'm fear-mongering, that this is another push for an end of the world scenario, another end of the world prediction, another Y2K, another 2012, things of that sort. But never once in any of my videos did I say the world was going to end when the total eclipse occurs. I never said there was going to be an apocalypse. So I don't know why I keep getting these comments that I'm fear-mongering another Y2K or 2012. But it's obvious there's going to be some type of change. It's not going to be world ending. The world's not going to come to a stop. But they're letting us know there's going to be some kind of change where now these enemies, these countries who hated each other, are going to come together. And the total eclipse is clearly on this magazine cover, and it's reflecting to this merger at the bottom. Now, I will cover more on this large cargo ship crashing into this critical bridge for Maryland, for Baltimore, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, knocking it down. Because there is more information coming out, and more information that absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. So if you want to see those videos and more, please do subscribe. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.